Hello in the city.
Hi, it's us. What are we?
Joining the Jgirls.
The Jgirls are here today, and you're on to the program RWJ Couch Chat, and we've been talking about our house rules since the beginning of this year. We entered this year well. Just say, okay, let's define what we're going to be doing this year. So we've been doing house rules, and we hope that you enjoy this program as you come along and join us. Hey, we are back, and Jgirls, can you remind me what has been the topics we've been doing on our house?
So the first thing we did was not stop actually. It was think before you act.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was stop.
SSCK, slow down.
Kindness, calmness,
Self-control.
and self-control. And then the next week we did respect.
Respect.
And then last week we did
No, wait.
honesty.
The week before
Okay, what was it?
we did honesty.
Honesty.
Last week we did words.
Honesty, we did what? So we are moving very fast. So we've done about 6 rules. All right, that's good. We are getting there. And so, what is the what's the rule we are discussing today?
It is
Responsibility. So, girls, responsibility. That's a very big house rule.
Who remembers when we did it last year?
Yeah, we did it last year, but this time around we are
I
making
like
it more.
responsibility. And there was a song we played.
Yeah. Okay, so
Responsibility.
okay, now let's not go there. All right, so responsibility. Little J, what's responsibility to you?
Responsibility to me, it's like doing the things that you're meant to do by yourself, not telling you.
So doing the things, doing the things that you are meant to do without telling somebody else to do it. Big J, what is responsibility to you?
Responsibility as well as that is also minding your own business as well. A lot of things are being responsible, like respect is responsible.
Mhm.
Saying the right words are responsible. Like honesty is responsible.
So taking responsibility means you are taking ownership of whatever you do, say, or think.
Yeah, and if you make a mistake, you'll own up to it.
So you're taking ownership of whatever you do. So nice conversation going down here. Kids, what do you think responsibility is? Inbox us, let us know your idea about responsibility. So for us and the screen I've got a lot of images from the internet, and we just discussed the interesting images I got. So responsibility says you take personal responsibility is equal to personal power. In other words, if you take responsibility, you have the power to do so.
And if you do algebra, you'll know that if you balance the equation, you cross off personal, then you have to cross off the other personal, and it becomes responsibility equals power.
Wow, she just did a mathematical equation. so that means that responsibility is your power. That's what it just says. So if we cross out personal, wow, that's interesting. Thank you for that. I hope you remember that today.
Well, yeah, responsibility.
Yeah, so if you are not taking responsibility, you are not having any power. You said it yourself. I'll remind you. I need to put it on the fridge as a magnet. Yes.
You can add it to our board, like all the important things that we discussed in this series. You could add it.
Yeah, that's true. In other words, we just said responsibility means power, means it starts with you, right? Where does responsibility start from? Where does respect start from? Where does the word to speak out start from? You see, everything starts from you. So if you are not responsible, how do you expect somebody else to be responsible to you? Big J, we have this conversation every time you call Little J. Hey, Little J, you have not done this. Little J, you have not done this. What's the next thing I say? I say, have you done it yourself? So responsibility starts from your solitude. Read that. Let's see what's written.
Take responsibility and an initiative for yourself. Don't blame your circumstances on what you're able to change.
Whoa, what does
You
that
said
mean?
that.
So what does that mean?
So I
What does that mean? What you read?
don't say that you can't do things that you can do.
Okay, so it's saying that take responsibility and initiate it yourself. So when you wake up in the morning, what's your responsibility?
Lay my bed.
So do you need me to initiate that every morning? So that's what it means. So you take responsibility and you initiate it. Now, sometimes you know your responsibility is to wash the plate, but you never wash it. You never initiate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like it.
You see, that's it. So it's not just knowing the responsibility, it's also initiating the act of doing it. So if you say you are responsible for going to school 8 o'clock, you are responsible for it, but you never took an action to wake up at 7 o'clock or 6:30 to get ready for school at 8 o'clock when you get to school. So you need that initiative. And then he says, stop blaming. Do we talk about blame a lot in this house? Stop blaming others. Now, the truth is, I really feel a little bit heavy-hearted for kids that are being raised nowadays, because the kind of rules of the game nowadays is everybody blames everybody. The people blame the government blame the supplier blame the market, the producer. Everybody just blames. I don't understand. So stop blaming. Whatever happens, look at your circumstances and change what you're able to change, and don't lay blame. You can imagine 2 kids are quarreling and the parents are blaming another parent. How does that work?
2 kids.
2 kids are fighting and the parents are blaming each other kids instead of making their kids face their own responsibility. You know, when you have issues with your friends, what do? The first thing I do is I face you. Or when you have an issue with your sister, the first thing I do is I face you and I tell you what you've done wrong. How does that make you feel? Quite annoying. So it makes you feel quite annoying whenever I face you with the fact of what you're doing. But that means I'm trying to make you take responsibility and change that situation. I don't want to raise you up in a way that you always point the finger as Mr. X, Mr. B, Mr. D. I want you to look at yourself and first of all, whatever happens, analyze it. Where did I go wrong? Accept that responsibility, change it, and not point fingers at others. Others will go wrong, definitely. But the first thing is evaluate the situation and think of how you're going to do better next time. All right, so next one is so what's that? The blame game. So that's what we just continue. So you're always like, he's our fault, he's our fault, he's his fault, he's their fault, not me. Irresponsibility is always hiding behind not me.
Wait, 2 of them are going that way and 2 of them are going.
Okay, did you hear? Irresponsibility. Jemima, who did this? Not me.
Most of the time I see that.
Yeah, you always say the first thing. Yes, Little J, who did this? And she's just silent.
It's just silent.
When she's silent, this was just answer for blaming another person is silent. You just keep quiet. In other words, she's saying that's her sister that did that. So responsibility means accountability. It means there are a lot of things that are there. Meaning working as a team member, working with your tasks, meaning that you are making individual responsibility, you are meeting the needs, you are focusing on things that are supposed. But the main thing is responsibility and accountability work together. Why?
Accountability is taking account for what you've done.
Taking account for what you've
kind
done.
of like writing down, like taking task lists.
Yeah.
And responsibility is doing those tasks.
Yeah. So that means that responsibility is doing those tasks, but you now go back and check if you have done it properly. So that's the accountability that comes behind. Interesting. That's very good. So Little J, do you have any other comment there? No. Okay.
Yes. The first one. There can also be a pink one at the bottom. It says
Silent.
Yes, you. Especially.
So we should put one more arrow there. Silent. And silence is golden. Anytime somebody is silent, they are giving you consent, right? So responsibility also means two things. So if you look at the responsibility process, you have to meet an obligation. It's either you go on the process of denying what you're supposed to do, quitting and say, I'm not going to do it. You're ashamed of doing it. You justify why you cannot do it and lay blame on others. Or you just take your obligation and do it. Which one is easier?
Obligation.
Just take your obligation.
No, it's not. It's actually quite hard though.
Sometimes it's harder.
It's easier to just
Sometimes it's easier. It's easier to do all the other ones, but your obligation is sometimes more difficult, but better off at the end of the day. But you can see that you go through that process. You first of all deny it, then you lay blame, like, who ate the biscuits and put the pack on the chair? Not me. Then you come, it's little J. I say, oh, but we was when we were doing that. Then you now put your head down. And then at last you're not clear. You see the process?
The stories to add on.
The stories to add on until you finally take responsibility for it. And last week we did something about words. I can't. Last week we did something about words. I can't. And the same word is showing up today. Responsibility means I can't. Being responsible means you can stand up and say, that is my responsibility.
So the responsibility
words is the action of responsibility. I am responsible for saying good words to you. That means anytime I open my mouth, the words that come out, the action of my mouth is good words. The next one is know your role. We were talking about roles in the house and the things we have to do. We have a timetable, what the girls do every day and every week. They don't follow it anyway, let me just confess. But the timetable is there. The question is, if sometimes you follow it. But if you know your role, will you come and argue? If you know you're the one that's supposed to clean the floor and clean dishes, will you come and argue because it's written there? So you know that responsibility. So responsibility and know your roles is equal to the same thing.
Because the evidence is there, so there's no point denying.
The evidence, there's no point there. So that's why it says, do what you say you would do. Sometimes when it's not written down and you say the words, I'm going to finish my schoolwork by 3. Do what you said you're going to do.
I don't finish it by 5.
Yes, exactly. Your hair is digging to my earring. Sometimes you can, because sometimes you don't put effort. Hello? That is where that's responsibility. So when you say something, there's an adage that says, let your yes be yes,
No, be no.
and your no be no.
Integrity.
So responsibility and integrity, they go hand in hand. So in other words, if Jade says, I'm going to finish my schoolwork at 3 o'clock, what you do is that you don't just, okay, I'm going to finish my food in 20 minutes. What you do, you don't wait until the 20 minutes and say, I cannot finish. What you do is that once the time starts, you plan according to the 20 minutes. So that by the time it is 15 minutes, you are almost finished. And 20 minutes you finish. Responsibility and planning come together. Whoever fails to plan has planned to fail.
That's what you say.
That's what I say a lot. So responsibility comes with planning. So if I put a plate of food on the floor for you, it's your responsibility to plan out how to eat it. If I give you your school task every morning, it's your responsibility to plan out. If your work is supposed to be 30 minutes, it's your responsibility to plan out the work. If your assignment is given in school, Big J, it's your responsibility not to go on the internet and be browsing. You see? Do what you say. So anytime you say, my mom, I'm going to be doing my schoolwork, do what you say you do. So does mommy do what she says she wants to do? Pretty much times. Pretty much. Oh, I'm rooting.
Yeah. You have lots of experience.
Wow. Okay, Big J, can you read that next one?
Maturity is not by age, but the acceptance of your responsibilities.
So, what does that mean?
It means that when you accept your responsibilities, you're mature.
Yeah. So the more you accept your responsibility, the more you mature. So the kind of responsibility, expectation I have for you when you were 3 years old, the kind of expectation I had for you when you were 3 years old, it is the same expectation I have for you now that you are 12. Now that you are 12. And that you're a child. Okay, now that you're a child, is it the same expectation? So you see that the level of responsibility has increased, and so my expectation of you have also increased, and so your maturity has increased. So sometimes when you are having a communication with little J, and you are saying, but she needs to know, what do I tell you? I tell you that when you were little J's age, you did exactly the same thing. I was telling you did exactly the same thing when you were little J's age. Okay, so I was telling you that little J, when she was your age, she can't do the things you expect her to do. So I said you need to wait for her to grow, understand the same level of responsibility that you now know. Little J, read the second one.
You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by a baby not today.
Who said that?
Abraham.
What does that mean?
It means that you can't escape that you have to do responsibility tomorrow when you do responsibility today.
So, okay, what he's trying to say is, if you run away from your schoolwork today, will you come and meet it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right, that's exactly. So if you invade it today and run. So it's saying that if we try to run away from our responsibility today, we'll meet it tomorrow. We can't escape it. So that means we'll just be piling up what we have to do. Let me give an example. The big day, there was a day like you're supposed to wash the plates and you didn't wash it. What did I do?
Oh, you just left it.
What?
And then I left it.
Then the next day, I didn't do that. And I waited until the third day. And then what did I say? I said, you have to come and do it because you can't run away from that responsibility. And what am I doing? I'm teaching you the act of just falling in love with washing plates. Not because it's not a bad thing. You need to just learn to wash plates. You need to just enjoy it.
I can learn how to do it, but I'll ever enjoy it.
Yeah. It doesn't matter, but you decide to go and use the dishwasher, whatever you like. But the thing is, you have to learn that responsibility of doing it. See? Alright, so what's the next one say? If you realize your responsibility, you will realize your destiny.
Bye.
If you realize your responsibility, you will realize your destiny. In other words, responsibility and your destiny work hand in hand together. Your responsibility is to pass your exams. What happens? You achieve that goal, you achieve that destiny. So it's very important that you realize what your responsibility is, because it takes you to your goal, it takes you to your destination. And that is the responsibility you initiate and you do. Okay, little J, what's the next one?
The price of greatness is responsibility.
Who said that?
Winston
Churchill. So the price of greatness. Yeah, that's so. If you want greatness, you have to be responsible. If you want to be great, don't sing it. You see? Don't sing. If you want to be great, you have to learn responsibility.
You have to learn to be.
You have to learn. Anytime you are running away from responsibility, you are not ready to be great. So that's another sticker. Anytime Big J is running away from responsibility, she's not ready to be
great.
Anytime little J is running away from her responsibility and schoolwork and closing the toilet door, she's not ready to be great. Alright, Big J, what's the next one?
Taking responsibility is the commitment to own your life, to self-leadership, growth, and freedom. Christopher Avery.
So, what does that mean? What does that mean?
It means that responsibility leads to self-leadership, growth, and freedom.
Beautiful, give me 5. It means responsibility, commitment to your responsibility helps you to develop your life, your leadership skills, growth, and freedom. So if you are not committed to responsibility, Big J, listen up. You will not grow in life, you will not develop leadership skills, you will not have freedom. Responsibility gives you freedom. Why? Let me give you an example. You're supposed to eat for 20 minutes. You take that responsibility and you eat for 18 minutes. You have a freedom of 2 minutes to play. You see what responsibility? It gives you that leeway to do any other thing you want to do because you set your heart on being responsible and committed to it. So I like this 3-1. A hero is someone who understands the responsibility that comes with freedom.
Or his.
Yeah, or her or his. Look at that chick. Look at the mother, I said chick, ducklings and the mother duck. She knows the responsibility of taking care of those ducklings. And anytime a hawk comes to pick the chicken or they try to protect them. So what has she become afterwards?
Hero.
A hero. So mommy comes a hero when she takes the responsibility of understanding our role. And after that comes freedom. It's important to learn. You want to be a hero, you want to help other people, you have to learn the act of responsibility.
That's like not too judges of this.
Okay, little J, read the next one.
The beauty of accepting responsibility is that you are also accepting the power to change your life, yourself, and your circumstances. So if I'm responsible, I can change your life from bad to good.
Exactly!
Or from good to better.
Exactly! So now that you're watching this, are we going to have a problem about your eating again?
Okay.
Thank
That's
you.
a promise
She
now.
just made a promise in front of everybody that's watching this video. We'll come back next week. So 7 days, promise from now till next week. Little J, you won't have any problem with your eating because you're going to take responsibility, right? That will be a big relief. So when you accept responsibility, you accept the power to change your life, yourself, and your circumstances. Personally, for Mighty J, there were some things I did a few years ago that were wrong. Not that it was entirely wrong. I can't say they were wrong, but some circumstances were not right. And one of the things I did was take responsibility. And in the process of taking responsibility, it might become more painful. Yes or no? Was it more painful? But what happened? It gave me the power to change my life. It gave me the power to change myself. And it gave me the power to change my circumstances. It's not that my circumstances are entirely what I want to do. But that decision, the accepting responsibility and accepting where I've gone wrong, had helped me to progress over the years. Girls, boys and girls, it's important that as you're growing up, you learn the act of taking responsibility and don't blame anybody. Always find out where did I go wrong first of all, before you point the finger at somebody else. So for us in the house, we've been talking about responsibility. How do you see responsibility as a family? How do you see it play out after today, after we've talked about this? Start from DJ. Start from DJ.
I guess now that we've learned about responsibility and told you guys things about it, I guess you have to be responsible now. The responsible thing.
It's not we talk about basics.
Yes. Wake up earlier so that we can do things earlier.
All right, so that means that now that we've told everybody this is our house rule, guys, this is our house rules. We are now responsible to do our house rules.
Now we have to do it.
So if you have not been responsible to do the house rules, now you are now responsible to do the house rules.
Yeah.
Yes!
Oh, yes.
That's the joy of telling everybody what you're doing, because you have now taken the power to do it. You have accepted, let's go to that slide. You have accepted that responsibility now. Then you now take the power to change your life and your circumstances, right? Okay. Little J, your comment. Nothing. All right, so let's go to the last slide. The last slide says, whatever happens, take responsibility.
I have a question.
What's it?
Does that mean when something happens and it's not your fault, does that mean you have to take responsibility as well?
When something happens that is not your fault, you cannot take responsibility. But the first thing, before you say it's somebody else's fault, evaluate the situation. When two people interact, the fault is not always on one person.
It could be on both.
Even if it is 95 to 5%, there's an element of error on the other person. So that's why you need to accept responsibility. If you were right, you are taking the responsibility that you did something right. If you were wrong, remember, responsibility is not always the wrong aspect. If you are wrong, you're taking responsibility that you did something wrong. Okay? So whatever happens, kids, mom and dad, we need to learn to take responsibility. The truth is, the world we live today, we avoid responsibility, or we take it to the extreme, blaming others. We feel that they are responsible for what happened to us. But the truth is,
like if you got a major cut, you didn't take notice
yeah.
for what they did.
So the truth is, we need to learn to take responsibility for our own actions, and don't take responsibility for other people's actions. Those are the kind of weaknesses I fell into in the past. That I would accept responsibility for other people's actions, even when their actions hurt me. I was that kind of person that I would always blame myself and take responsibility for what everybody does. And sometimes I see that mirror in my girls and it upsets me a lot. One of my girls does it a lot and it upsets me. Before we say Jack Robinson, she's already pleading guilty and most of the time saying sorry, and very upsetting. But the truth is, don't accept responsibility for what you didn't do wrong. Accept responsibility for what you've done wrong. Accept the positive part or role you played in any situation, and then do better. The truth is, none of us is perfect, and I don't accept anything perfect from my girls, but we're on a journey, and as a mother, I'm also on a journey of responsibility with them.
But you do expect the best that you can.
Yes, I expect the best you can do, because you have to learn to do your best. But I don't expect you, when you fall down, that I now crucify you and say, you fell down. Why did you fall down? Well, yeah, I used to do that a little bit. Oh, you didn't see? Oh, how did you just fall down? Yeah, I'm just teasing. Right, so girls, on this note, do you have any other thing to say?
It's all good.
It's all good. So we are challenging ourselves as we leave this place and as we discuss responsibility, to go back and take responsibility for things that happen in our home, things that happen in school, things that happen in the place of work, so that we'll build a nation or a community of kids that learn to take responsibility for their actions and not blame other people for whatever happened. And so we want to say thank you for joining us today on Reading with Joan. And our house rules once again today was responsibility, and we hope to see you next week when we'll share another of our house rules.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.